Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 530 based on novel. So let's start. The continents in the Wind Celestial Realm had been taken by Wang Lin, but the realm was still there. The passage Wang Lin had sealed was still there as well. The moment this aura spread out, the door at the end of the passage trembled violently. This made the aura that terrified the cave world leak into the Gu sect through this door. The moment the aura appeared, the expressions of all cultivators in the sect changed greatly. Those with high cultivation levels were filled with shock and disbelief. One of the 9 suns, the aura of a Grand Empirean. Which Grand Empirean appeared there? On the immortal astral continent, Fan Shanmeng, who was sitting inside the ice mountain, instantly turned pale. The ice mountain suddenly collapsed and she jumped out with her face filled with horror. This is the aura of a Grand Empirean. On the immortal astral continent, of the eastern 9 sects and 13 factions, the number 1 sect was the Purple Sun sect. Just the power of one sect was enough to sweep the other 8 sects. This was because one of the legendary Grand Empireans was a member of the Purple Sun sect. One of the 9 sons of the immortal astral continent. However, this Grand Empirean was very mysterious, and few people knew what this person looked like. People didn't even know if this Grand Empirean was male or female. However, the more mysterious this Grand Empirean was, the less people were willing to provoke the Purple Sun sect. At this moment, inside the Purple Sun sect, there were 7 or 8 old men gathered, and their faces were filled with bitterness. There was a dignified middle-aged man before them who roared loudly. "All of you, tell me what is going on." They said they were going to play in the Beast Farm realm, but one of the elders seemed to mutter, filled with helplessness. "Play? The aura of the Grand Empirean has spread out, how could this still be playing?" The middle-aged man roared, but his eyes were also filled with helplessness. "We can't open the Beast Farm realm. They have sealed it and won't let us in." Another old man bitterly shook his head. "No mistake is allowed in the Grand Empirean's reincarnation. They are still growing, it is not ideal to use their Grand Empirean power. Those 2 little ancestors, what are they doing?" The middle-aged man stomped his feet and the entire Purple Sun sect trembled. Even the world outside trembled. Inside the spatial rift, Wang Lin was sitting in the altar and saw the terrifying aura that had erupted from greed. Shock appeared in his eyes. The sun in greed's hand rapidly spread until it was the size of one person. The 9 firebirds let out miserable screams as they attempted to retreat, but as the sunlight flashed, they all collapsed. There was also the 7-colored daoist, who was startled for a moment. Although he hadn't obtained a memory, some things were engraved in his soul. Even if he split into 3 souls, certain things couldn't be erased. This memory was the fear and respect toward the 9 sons of the immortal astral continent. This is the aura of a Grand Empirean. The 7-colored daoist's expression changed. As the sunlight closed in, his body trembled and he coughed out blood. He retreated like crazy. He no longer considered refining Wang Lin and was scared out of his wits by the aura coming from the sun. Not only him, but old Ghost Shon, who was following the 4 generals to see if they could find the 3rd soul, suddenly trembled. His face turned deathly pale. "Grand Empirean." He didn't speak, but a sharp voice came from his body. "How can this be? The aura of a Grand Empirean entered here, this. That terrifying aura spread across the inner realm, the outer realm, and the entire cave world. It swept across each planet and each living being on them. At this moment, the entire cave world entered a moment of confusion. Right now, someone, whether he was a beast, mortal, or cultivator, was simulated by the Grand Empirean aura and remembered memories he had forgotten countless reincarnations ago. These memories would have never awakened, even after tens of thousands of years, without the stimulation from the Grand Empirean aura. However, due to this sheer coincidence, those memories awakened. These memories that had awakened was the 3rd soul. In the spatial rift in the Cloud Sea, the 7-colored daoist escaped in panic. He coughed out blood and escaped without a trace. He now felt extreme fear toward the spatial rift in the Cloud Sea. He could have never expected that hunting Wang Lin would cause the aura of a Grand Empyrean to appear. On the altar inside the rift, Wang Lin stared dumbfoundedly as the sun surrounded greed and pulled him into the rift. Through the rift, Wang Lin saw the two cute little girls inside. "Hey, it's you." One of the little girls inside the beast farm realm seemed to see Wang Lin and revealed a joyous expression. "Han, look, he is the person I was speaking of. He is also called Wang Lin. Wawa, quickly seal up the rift here. Those annoying old fellows are coming. If they find out about this place, then we won't be able to come anymore." "Okay, I'll seal the rift, and you go hide greed. We can't let them find out." The rift was covered by a ray of golden light and gradually disappeared. Even now, Wang Lin still felt confused about all of this. He sat on the altar and pondered for a very long time before he withdrew his gaze from the rift. One of the 9 suns. Grand Empyrean. The space was completely silent and no light remained. Wang Lin silently sat on the altar, recalling everything that had happened. These two little children are actually Grand Empyreans. The legendary Grand Empyreans of the immortal astral continent. Just their auras were able to make the 7-colored Daoist escape in fear. Wang Lin's eyes shined brighter and brighter. "One day, I'll also become a Grand Empyrean." Wang Lin closed his eyes, and a moment later, he opened them. He had calmed his heart. The 7-colored Daoist should not dare to come here anymore. This should be the safest place. I need to comprehend the restriction essence fused with those 9 drops of blood, and this arm. Wang Lin looked at the arm that was a few hundred feet long. "If I absorb this arm and use the Tearing the Heavens spell, I wonder how much of Yemo's strength I can display." Wang Lin's eyes shined. After calming himself, he pointed to the spot between his eyebrows and the 8 drops of blood flew out. These 8 drops of blood floated before him. They gave off no light, but powerful ancient aura came from them. Wang Lin's 7 ancient god stars rotated rapidly to form a vortex. In his right and left eyes, his ancient devil and demon stars also appeared. The current Wang Lin looked extremely strange. Yemo's blood contains the full power of the 3 ancient clans. Wang Lin grabbed 1 drop of blood and, after pondering for a moment, crushed it. It was divided into 7 parts that were absorbed into 7 orifices. This time he wasn't simply fusing it between his eyebrows, but fusing it with his body. After fusing with 1 drop of blood, a thunderous rumble came from his body. His body began to swell as it rapidly absorbed the ancient power within. The ancient god stars between his eyebrows rotated rapidly. The 8th star slowly took shape, but it was extremely unstable, as if it could dissipate at any moment. Wang Lin's expression became twisted from the pain coming from his body, but he endured it. The leap from 7 stars to 8 stars was great. Wang Lin also had to spend a part of his effort to increase the power of his ancient demon stars in his left eye. What he wanted was a balanced growth of all 3 ancient clans and not just ancient god. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 7 days went by. He was now covered in sweat and forcing himself to stay conscious. After absorbing the first drop, he crushed the second drop and then the third drop. 2 drops of blood swelled inside his body at the same time. Not only was his 8th ancient god star about to appear, but his ancient demon stars in his left eye were rotating rapidly as well. The sign of an 8th ancient demon star was about to appear as well. Wang Lin swelled up out of his control and the ancient one shadow appeared behind him. The shadow distorted as if it was going through a mysterious change. Several days later, Wang Lin opened his eyes and waved his sleeves. The remaining 5 drops of blood exploded into a blood mist before entering his body through his pores and orifices. As the mist continued to dissipate, Wang Lin's muffled groans came from within. The 8th ancient demon star slowly appeared in his left eye. The moment the demon star appeared, a monstrous storm of demonic energy swept across the world inside this rift. All the beasts knelt and didn't dare to move. At the same time, in his right eye, the 8th ancient devil star appeared. A monstrous devilish energy rushed out. The violent and cruel devilish energy swept across this space. The last to appear was the ancient god star. 3 trials, 7 calamities, is about to arrive. The mist around Wang Lin had long disappeared. Between his eyebrows, the eighth ancient god star shined brightly and was about to take shape. The ancient gods faced the 3 trials, 7 calamities, and the ancient demons and ancient devils faced the same thing. Every calamity was like a new beginning, and anyone who survived would have their strength increased greatly. However, Wang Lin's 3 trials, 7 calamities were much more powerful than that of others. Not only had his ancient god one arrived, but his ancient demon and ancient devils ones had arrived as well. The first trial of the ancient clans has 2 calamities. The second trial also has 2 calamities, the divine calamity and soul calamity. Wang Lin had already passed the first 2 trials, and the one that was coming was the strongest of the 3 trials, the third trial that had 3 calamities. However, his ancient demon and devil bodies, which had fused together, hadn't gone through the first or second trials. As a result, when he reached 8 stars on them, a total of 8 calamities would arrive at the same time. The ancient clan's calamities had to be passed one by one. The 8 ancient demon stars in his left eye rotated, forming a vortex. Demonic energy spread out from his left eye and covered his entire face before shrouding his whole body. At this moment, Wang Lin didn't look like a cultivator at all. His face was blue and his expression was ferocious. His veins swelled up and demonic energy spread out from his body. Wang Lin looked like a real demonic cultivator. His white hair moved behind him eerily and popping sounds echoed inside his body. The nails on his hands extended until they were more than 1 foot long. Those 10 nails were completely purplish red and looked extremely demonic. The demonic energy around his body condensed into a purplish red armor. This was a set of demonic armor the ancient demon clan members could create once they reached 8 stars. Covered in demonic armor, Wang Lin sat down on the altar. The ancient one shadow dissipated and was replaced by a huge ancient demon shadow. Its whole body was glowing green and its eyes had a strange light. It floated behind Wang Lin and was also sitting. The ancient demon's hair fluttered in the air, and it was thousands of feet tall. From a distance, the ancient demon's hair looked like smoke. At this moment, even if someone that knew him saw him, they wouldn't be able to recognize him immediately. Wang Lin closed his eyes as he slowly cycled the ancient demon power in his body. At this moment, the first trial and 2 calamities of the ancient demon arrived. Similar to the ancient god calamity, it was the bone calamity and the flesh calamity. These 2 calamities erupted inside Wang Lin's ancient demon body. Just as they appeared, the demonic energy around Wang Lin became chaotic. He remained motionless, and his eyebrows were locked. His closed eyes seemed to hide all the pain he was facing. The bones and flesh of his ancient demon body were being destroyed, but this pain was far from Wang Lin's limit. The ancient god calamities he faced back then were countless times stronger than what he was facing now. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 5 days went by. After 5 days passed, Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes. There were no stars between his eyebrows or in his right eye, but 8 ancient demon stars were rapidly rotating in his left eye, giving off a monstrous demonic energy. The ancient demon clan's first trial and 2 calamities is only this strong. Wang Lin was calm. He was indeed qualified to feel this. The ancient demon's first trials and 2 calamities were no threat to him. After the first trial, the second trial began shrouding Wang Lin's divine sense and soul. The demonic energy around him became violent and the ancient demon shadow behind him became twisted, as if it was going to let out a roar in pain. Wang Lin raised his right hand and pointed at his left eye, and his face became ferocious. He used his full attention to suppress the second trial, and after 10 days of suppression, the 2 calamities of the second trial collapsed. After going through 2 trials and 4 calamities, Wang Lin's ancient demon power surged and spread across the star domain. A powerful demon was born. Wang Lin's twisted expression slowly calmed down. His hands formed a seal and then he placed his hands on his knees. The ancient demon stars in his left eye gradually faded away. The moment they completely disappeared, the ancient devil stars in his right eye lit up. 8 ancient devil stars appeared. The demonic energy around Wang Lin scattered and was replaced with boundless devilish energy. This monstrous devilish energy formed a black mist that released the screams of countless miserable souls. Under this monstrous devilish energy, the ancient demon armor around Wang Lin shattered and a strange, black as ink armor appeared. This armor created a shocking contrast with his white hair, which was a shocking sight for anyone who saw him. Devilish patterns appeared on Wang Lin's face. As the devilish energy surged, Wang Lin changed from a demonic cultivator to a devil. A devil, something that coexisted with celestials, gods, and demons. Throughout the ages, all the so-called devils were fake, even ancient devils were not true devils. A real devil had no body, soul, or cultivation. It was a will. A will to be the only ruler. Wang Lin's path was similar to a devil's, but he had never become a true devil. After all, his main body was an ancient god. At this moment, the ancient devil stars rotated and monstrous devilish energy surged. Wang Lin's eyes opened, revealing merciless, cold light as he welcomed the ancient devil's first and second calamities. The power of the ancient devil calamities was similar to the ancient demon calamities, but just a bit stronger. Among the three ancient clans, the ancient gods were the strongest, followed by the ancient devils, and the ancient demons were the weakest. Their 3 trials 7 calamities were the same. After 7 days, Wang Lin's ancient devil body went through the first and second calamities. The pain of having his flesh and bones destroyed was still not as bad as the ancient god calamities he had faced. He then used another 13 days to suppress the second trial for the ancient devil. The sharpening of his divine sense and soul allowed Wang Lin to almost reach completion with his ancient devil body. After his ancient devil body successfully passed the 2 trials and 4 calamities, his 3 ancient clan powers reached a balance. As he sat on the altar, the 8 ancient god stars appeared without hesitation. Ancient god, an 8-star ancient god. Wang Lin had cultivated for more than 2,000 years. Through various fortunes and life and death situations, he had reached today and had become an 8-star ancient god. Not only was he an ancient god, but he was also an 8-star ancient demon and 8-star ancient devil. When the 3 fused into one, with the ancient god as the main body, they would become an ancient one. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light, and a total of 24 stars rotated at the same time. The aura of an ancient one spread out and filled the stars. A powerful feeling appeared in Wang Lin's mind. Wang Lin mercilessly clenched his fists. He knew that what he would face now was the real calamity. The 3rd trial of the ancient clans, all 3 would come at once. The 3rd trial had 3 calamities, the first being the ancient race heavenly blood. The 2nd calamity being the ancient Tao 3 distractions. As for the 3rd calamity, it was the strongest calamity the ancient ones faced. It was called the blessing of the ancient ancestor. Wang Lin didn't know much about the specifics. Although he had obtained the inheritance from Yi Mo, the memories were limited. He just knew that when facing the last 2 calamities, he would have to go to the ancient temple in the ancient country on the immortal astral continent to attempt them. Anytime a member of the ancient country reached the last calamity, a grand event would be held throughout the entire country. There would be a grand ceremony. Ancient One Yi Mo had gone through the last calamity in the ancient temple. He then obtained the title of Ancient Tao and became one of the powerhouses of the ancient country, admired by tens of millions of people. Even the Celestials attached great importance to the final calamity of the ancient clan. As Wang Lin sat on the altar, his body was being shrouded by even more powerful Ancient One aura to meet the first calamity of the 3rd trial. Once he passed this calamity, he would become a true 8-star ancient god. With the power of 8 stars from all 3 ancient clans, even without his cultivation, Wang Lin would be confident in overpowering early-stage arcane void cultivators. If his cultivation level increased further with the formation of the 7th essence, not even mid-stage arcane void cultivators would be his match after his cultivation and Ancient One power fused. He could directly battle late-stage arcane void cultivators. Ancient race heavenly blood, this calamity arrived. The so-called heavenly blood calamity required one to condense all the power of the 3 clans in one's body into one drop of blood. This drop of blood was everything for the person going through the calamity. They would use this drop of blood to break through the heavens and offer it as a sacrifice to the ancient race. Once you obtained the recognition of the ancient ancestor, then no matter where you were, a drop of blood would be sent back. This drop of blood would fuse with the drop of blood that was formed by the essence of the person going through the calamity. Once they fused, the body that would reform would have the true Ancient One bloodline. This bloodline was an equal existence to the celestial bloodline. The difficulty of this calamity wasn't the pain of condensing that drop of blood, but obtaining the recognition of the ancient ancestor. It was not something that just anyone could obtain. Even if one obtained the recognition of the ancient ancestor, the amount of blood obtained in return would be different as well, depending on the level of recognition. If it was ordinary, then only 1 drop, but if the recognition was high, then it could be 2 drops. Ancient Dao Yimo obtained 3 drops of blood when he went through the calamity. Throughout the ages, the person that obtained the most before Yimo had obtained 8 drops. This person was one of the 9 sons of the immortal astral continent, the ancient country's Grand Empirean Xian Luo. It was also him who battled against Grand Empirean Dao Yi to obtain that fragment outside of the 7 Dao sect. Wang Lin was sitting on the altar. After pondering for a long time, he closed his eyes and his ancient aura around him condensed inside his body. He began the first step of this calamity, refining that drop of blood. A vague shadow overlapped with his body and another Wang Lin gradually walked out. This was his avatar, his cultivator avatar. After his avatar left, Wang Lin's original body was now pure Ancient One. With Ancient Demon Body, extract the soul of the demon and form a drop of blood. Extract. Wang Lin raised his right hand to press on his body and let out a roar. His body trembled violently. His left eye immediately melted and intense pain washed over him. Even Wang Lin clenched his teeth in pain. Wang Lin felt like a part of his body was being pulled out, and a drop of blood flew out from his left eye. This drop of blood was the size of a nail, floating before Wang Lin. Inside the drop sat a small ancient demon that looked like Wang Lin. With my ancient devil body, extract the soul of the devil and form a drop of blood. Extract. Wang Lin's voice was calm, forming a stark contrast with his painful expression. As he spoke, his right hand formed a seal and pressed on his body again. Popping sounds came from his right eye before it collapsed. Wang Lin's body rapidly withered until it was like a skeleton. After his right eye collapsed, a drop of black blood filled with monstrous devilish energy flew out and floated next to the ancient demon blood. There was a small ancient devil Wang Lin sitting inside it. With my ancient god body, melt everything and form a drop of ancient god blood. Wang Lin's vision was blurry and he could not see clearly. The pain was already beyond his limit, but he still held on. He had to survive this ancient race heavenly blood calamity. His body melted rapidly. The first parts to melt were his legs and arms, then his entire body was surrounded by a blood mist. Then his entire body disappeared and became part of the blood mist. The mist moved and rapidly condensed. After about 7 minutes, it formed a drop of ancient god blood. At this moment, on this altar, from the view of Wang Lin's avatar, his original body had disappeared without a trace. Only 3 drops of blood remained. The 3 drops of blood floated there, and inside each one sat a tiny Wang Lin. At this moment, the 3 figures opened their eyes and the 3 drops of blood rapidly fused. After a few moments of silence, the 3 drops of blood fused into 1 drop. This drop of blood was the essence of the ancient god, ancient demon, and ancient devil bodies. It was Wang Lin's everything. Different from the blood of the celestials, this blood was not golden but gave off a black light. It caused the surroundings to look hazy. The moment the 3 drops of blood fused into 1, an ancient aura spread out from it. This drop of blood contained the passage of time and the ancient clan's heaven-defying will. It shot into the sky and flew off into the distance. No cultivator in the entire cave world would notice this aura, because this aura belonged to the ancient clan. It didn't belong to any cultivator. This had aura appeared to summon the ancient clan. As the aura spread out, anyone who had the ancient bloodline in the cave world would feel it. They would feel a power from their bloodline. In the inner realm, the ancient demon in the cloud sea that hadn't died after all those battles opened his eyes in shock. He stared into the distance as he felt this aura, and he faintly felt like worshipping that aura. Inside the invisible rift around the collapsed planet Wang Lin sat a woman who was also an ancient god. At this moment, her eyes opened and became filled with horror. She was startled for a moment before her body began to tremble uncontrollably. Ancient race, heavenly blood. In the outer realm, in the ancient tomb, Tuol Sen hadn't left. He had decided to stay inside to complete his inheritance. He was still sitting there with his eyes closed. Wang Lin had given him the memory inheritance he always wanted. After years of fusing with it, perhaps he was still Tuol Sen, or perhaps he had become the awakened Tu Sai. But at this moment, he suddenly opened his eyes and his pupils shrank. On the immortal astral continent, the east and south belonged to the celestials and the west and north belonged to the ancient ones. Because the immortal astral continent was so large, many cultivators or ancient ones had never left their own country. At this moment, in the northern part of the immortal astral continent, there was a giant, floating city. Just the size of this city was as big as the cave world. It was impossible to see the edges of this city. The space below the city was completely dark, a place that would never see sunlight. This was the ancient country's prison for celestial prisoners. With the city acting as a suppression tool, many celestial bloodline cultivators were imprisoned here. At the center of this ancient city stood a huge statue. This statue was very large, looking as if it supported the sky above the immortal astral continent. Even if you were far away, you could still see this statue. This statue was that of a middle-aged man. His expression was majestic as he looked at the earth below him. He gave off a gaze that made it seem like he looked down upon everything. In his eyes, what was this sky, what was this earth, and what did celestials count as? His hands were stretched out as if he controlled the entire immortal astral continent. His huge palms felt like they had the power to destroy the entire continent. A young man stood on his left hand. This young man had a head of black hair and wore a black robe. His black hair fluttered in the wind as he looked at the statue before him with respect in his eyes. A faint light had appeared between the eyebrows of this statue a few days ago. This light was red, and it almost looked like condensed blood. It was this shocking scene that caused this young man to be standing here staring at it. Behind him floated thousands of figures. Behind them floated tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of figures. Although there was a large amount of people, there was no noise. Everyone's gazes were locked onto the young man in black and the statue. After a long time, the young black-haired man seemed to slowly mutter to himself, as the time arrived. Just at this moment, 9 giants about 100,000 feet tall were walking over from the distant void. Behind them was a man dressed in a royal robe who looked almost exactly like the statue. As he walked over, he had his hands behind his back. Behind him followed 9 more 100,000 feet tall giants. His appearance caused the nearly 1 million ancient country cultivators to bow. "Greetings, ancient emperor." Only the black-haired young man didn't bow and still calmly looked at the statue. The man in the royal robe didn't seem to mind at all. He walked past the 1 million people bowing to him and arrived beside the young man. He smiled as he clasped his hands and spoke with respect without losing any of his dignity. "Yisu greets Grand Empirean Xian Luo." The black-haired young man was one of the 9 sons, Grand Empirean Xian Luo. The black-haired young man slowly said, "The time is almost here, you're a bit late. I hope Grand Empyrean can forgive me. The Ji and Sha emperors are both very concerned about what is happening here, and I was talking to them with my divine sense." The middle-aged man in the royal robe revealed a wry smile and nodded. The black-haired young man let out a cold snort. "The 3 emperors, Ji, Dao, and Sha. You are the emperor of the kingdom of Dao, and there are times when you don't need to bother giving them any attention. This matter is a great event for my Dao kingdom, so of course they are concerned. As uncle says." The middle-aged man changed the way he addressed the young man. After hearing the middle-aged man call him uncle, the black-haired young man's expression softened slightly. "Uncle, this matter is very strange. I wonder, what are the chances?" The man in the royal robe looked at the statue of his ancestor who looked just like him. The black-haired young man pondered for a long time before speaking. "Yi Mo's heir is an accident, I don't know what happened. I merely felt it through the bloodline. As for whether he can obtain the recognition of the ancient ancestor, I'm not sure. He is the heir of Yimo? This? How is this possible? The man in the royal robe trembled. Apparently it was the first time he had heard of this. Back then, Yimo, before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by the black-haired young man. 7 days ago, my ancient clan's ancient statue gave off the heavenly bloodlight. This matter is normal, but this heavenly bloodlight has been gathering for 7 days and still hasn't formed. This kind of thing is extremely rare. Even for me, the bloodlight only gathered for 9 days. I carefully searched everyone with the ancient bloodline and found that no one had begun the ancient race heavenly blood calamity. Then I performed a divination to find the root. It was Yimo's heir. If he succeeds, and if he can come to the immortal astral continent, then I'll consider taking him as my disciple. My only disciple. To be able to reach such a point inside the cave world and then be able to come out means he will become someone very powerful in the future. A powerful person for my ancient race. After I reincarnate, he can help guard the ancient race. I hope he can succeed, the black-haired young man said slowly as he looked at the statue. Time slowly passed. 8 days, 9 days, until 13 days went by. Still in complete silence, all the surrounding ancient clan members looked at the bloodlight around the statue become more intense during these days. More and more expectation appeared in their eyes. At dusk of the 13th day, a change occurred. The bloodlight between the eyebrows of the statue seemed to reach a limit and covered most of the sky. The surroundings were shrouded in the bloodlight, and a few breaths later, a drop of blood slowly formed between the eyebrows of the statue. After a long time, a second drop still hadn't appeared. Only one drop. The man in the royal robe revealed an undetectable amount of contempt in his eyes. Not only him, but all the ancient clan members around were all filled with disappointment. They had waited for 13 days in order to witness a miracle, and they didn't expect to only see one drop. However, just at this moment, loud exclamations came from people. A second drop of blood flew out from between the eyebrows of the statue. Shortly after, the third and fourth drops of blood flew out. 4 drops. It's actually 4 drops. This video will end here.